Hey guys, it's Will today. I want to talk about cryptocurrencies. I'm using TradingView for this, for the crypto assets, and they're not in good shape right now, in my opinion. So, especially Bitcoin. So, if we look at Bitcoin, you can see that we had this nice big uptrend. So, a lot of times, you've got your 50-day moving average. You can draw like a trend line, and you can see how it started to flatten out here. These are the higher highs and higher lows. So they get closer together and you start to get this flat period, and then you broke down here below the 50, and so that would be a bad sign. Like here we had support close to the 50 until this point here, and people who are buying dips and things, that's fine if that's what you do, but I'm focusing on, like, when in these videos, on the technical charts. So you know it's not about just buying and holding in long-term sort of scenarios for this type of trading. So this would have been a bad sign. And then you can see here the 21 exponential moving average is below the 50. So there was some hope here when you start to see a reversal down at 45, 46. You can feel positive about that, and we got it just above the 50 here, but the 21 never got quite up above it. And you can see here that we had that, like, if you take the wicks, the lowest point around 46,000, you can see now we've broken to 45,000. So this is, once you break that support that you had for this, like this, twice you had a support, you hit this point here, and then just recently we hit it again and it bounced off. But now we've got this down candle, and then now this is broken down. So the 200-day is at 40,000 roughly, and so we'll see if that supports. But the other thing I look at is like the MACD momentum. So as this was, even if it's going up a little bit, you can see how the momentum is declining. So you have this high point here, and the next high is lower than the previous one. So this is called divergence. It's diverging between the price going up and the MACD momentum going down. And then the next high here, you can see, was even lower. So I drew a line across the tops, and then this fourth one is even lower. So this can be, MACD is not a perfect indicator, but this is showing declining momentum, even if, like I said, the price is going up here. But then here, it's a bad scenario. It's in this, you could call it consolidation, but now we're breaking down. And like people were talking about, if you're on Twitter, you'll see a lot of positive stuff about buying the dip, and also some of the, like, there's these Glassnode statistics on people that are buying and putting money on the exchanges, like they're waiting to buy, and all this kind of statistics about Bitcoin using the blockchain activity. But the chart's a great way to sort of cut through the noise and just see what's actually happening. So I wouldn't be, from a trading perspective, I wouldn't be buying this. What you want to do is look at this uptrend here with the 50, the 21-day exponential above the 50, and just sort of ride that up. And then once you get to this point, you've got, I like to draw a line across the tops. You've got, lower highs here, and this is a lower low from this previous point, and now we're establishing another low. So this will be another low. So sometimes you get this up and down action. It's you have to wait and see what happens. Some people might draw, like, if you draw like a wedge, say, like if you were up at this point, you draw this wedge, and then all of a sudden you wait to see if it's going to break up or down. And so now we've broken down. So you don't know what's going to happen, but it's a point of consolidation. So that's one way to, to chart up your diagrams. I just wanted to mention that I've been talking a lot about TC2000, but if you're doing crypto and you want to have alerts, you can only use one alert with the free service. And you don't want to be watching the charts all day long. So you see this little plus here. You can put if you have crypto investments, you want to put alerts at points when you might want to sell. So like at the break of this 50, and you put the alerts in there, and then you'll get notified when it crosses that line or whatever. and you know, that's when you might want to sell. So for this case, you want to get you want to sign up for TradingView, the Pro plan. So there's a link in the description, and that'll give you more indicators and a bunch of server-side alerts, because you just get one, and that might not be enough for you. So that's something to consider. And I mostly use TC2000 for stocks and ETFs, but and they even have a Bitcoin and an Ethereum ETF in Canada. But for crypto and you know, you're not able to really these things trade 24/7. So it's important, you know, you can pay $15 or $30 a month for the TradingView plan, and you know, it's going to save you money in the long run, because especially now with the fees that you're paying for trading like Ethereum and stuff like that, they're pretty crazy right now. So it's good, you know, it's good to put some money into that, just to kind of make sure that you don't miss a big drop without having to watch it all the time. Another one I've been looking at, so with Ethereum and Bitcoin, you have, let's talk about Ethereum. You've got proof of stake at the moment. And so these were a bit weak. I mean, this was strong, but now you're having this pullback here. And now you can see that you can see how the momentum was coming down, and then you broke it now, the moving average. So basically, you know, we're below the 21-day at this point. It's not a close of the candle today yet, but you know, this is showing weakness here. The other thing is, when you draw, you can draw like trend lines, something like this, similar to the 50-day, I guess, at this point. But you can see how we're quite a ways when you start to go vertical, and you get, you know, once you start to see this is when you usually get a pullback. You can see how we came up here, pull back, got up here, pull back. So you always get that that situation. So when you were going up quite a bit, and so the issue is with proof of work, even though these guys are moving to proof of stake, is just people are talking about the energy consumption and all that stuff. So there's some fear out there. So Cardano was starting to do better. It's starting to break out recently here. So I had like a line. So let me just see if I can draw that. So I had a line here, and it broke out here, and you can see this upward momentum. And then, but once you get to this parabolic state, you know, where it's going vertical. So this is the line I drew with is the trend line. And it, you know, you're in a pretty nice state, and then it started getting way far up off the trend line. So they usually get a pullback when that happens. The other thing I do is I do a ratio chart of Cardano versus Ethereum. So Ethereum's kind of the benchmark for the, you know, the smart contract type stuff. So you can see that we are below this 21 moving average, and now we've crossed up and even are above the 50. So relatively speaking, Cardano was doing better than Ethereum. So that's where you could start to consider moving more funds into Cardano or something that is doing better than Ethereum. And if we go to Solana, that's another one. You know, we had this nice big uptrend, and then, but there's a bit of a stall here. So you can see where we crossed down, and the momentum is coming down like this. So if you want to compare Solana to Ethereum, you can go like this. Just put a slash. And Solana did really well. Then you had this huge pullback, and then it started to come up again. So, you know, in a bit, you might see the return of Solana overtaking Ethereum again. You can see how the momentum was coming up here, but it hasn't quite crossed up yet. So, and don't forget that the ratio charts are relative, so they can both be going down, but one's less than the other, and it could look like a positive chart. So you ultimately have to look at the chart to see what's happening. Polkadot is another one. It's a bit flat right now, but you know, there is a chance if it breaks out around 45 or so, and you know, that it would continue to go up. But if you look at the ratio chart, you know, it's been in a decline compared to Ethereum, and you're just starting to see a bit of life here with the recent weakness in Ethereum. So it's not established in terms of the ratio chart that Polkadot is going to take over. The other one is Polygon, so that's MATIC. If I go to the MATIC here, this one's had an unbelievable run recently. And you know, you can see that the wick pushed it down, and then today was up and pushed it right back down. So we're getting far above the, when you get far up high above the 21, you see how these two big candles, and then we go sideways, you kind of meet up with the 21, and then you get vertical again, you get away from the 21 and the 50, and then you know, it generally will pull back, but it's really strong. So if we compare in the ratio chart, MATIC divided by Ethereum, it's fairly new here, but you can see the strength. I don't have the moving averages because it looks like it's not enough time to establish that, but that one is something to keep an eye on. So I really like the idea of using ratio charts and finding the strongest cryptocurrencies. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much. I guess I'll take a little look at Monero. That's more of a privacy coin. It's had a good run. It's got a pullback here close to the 50 now. So the momentum is obviously declining here. So we'll see if we get support and then continue that uptrend. So hopefully that helps. If you want to get TradingView trial, you can check out the link in the description, or the pro version, so you can get alerts. And I'll just show you quickly here on a Cardano. I put an alert at $2, and that was at the bottom of this previous candle. So when you get really high up, you could put an alert at a certain point and then wait and see. So you don't have to necessarily sell just because it's really high, but you can put an alert and say, okay, if it pulls back to that point, I'm going to get out. And so you don't have to, just sell as soon as it starts getting high off off the trend line, because you might want to, it might turn around and go back up again. So when it gets high up, it's harder to say, like over here, there's a trend line or a low point, a support level, and that's a good spot to think about as a stop. But once you get way up high, your stop is so far away that, if you're willing to let that ride and go up and down, that's fine. But if you want to take some profits and maybe buy back in when it pulls back and then starts another uptrend, you have a better a support point to put your stop. But alerts are great. So this gives you, if you sign up for the pro version, you get more than one alert and more indicators. So if you have multiple cryptocurrencies, that'll be useful to put the stops, to put the alerts at certain points, so you don't have to watch it all the time. So, all right, guys, we shall talk to you in the next video.